What's up? This is a pine tree. Do you know how trees access the internet? They log on. This is a sweetgum tree. Liquidambar styriflua. I think that's how you say that. It has been used by many Native American tribes for all sorts of things. Its sap, when it's dried, is a chewing gum. It's called a sweet gum, not really because it's sweet, but because it's sweeter than the other gum tree, which is black gum, I think, and it's very sour and bitter. I can't imagine worse flavor, super sour and bitter. So this is a baby, but you can identify it by its star leaves and its pokey seed pods that it forms and then drops when they're brown, and then you step on them if you're walking around barefoot. That's the sweet gum. But it's also super useful. Those green spiky balls, when they're chopped up, are full of shakimic acid and can be used to treat the flu. Shakimic acid is one of the main ingredients in Tamiflu. So by crushing it up, soaking it in alcohol for 3 to 6 weeks minimum, you have yourself a medicine to treat the flu. Tea can be made from its fruits and inner bark. Very medicinal, full of vitamins. You'll want to collect the sap after the cold seasons has passed, right after, because when it's cold, the sap will travel down into the roots, and when it warms up, the sap will fill up the tree again. During that time when it's moving is the best time to collect it. That's when you'll get a lot of sap. Chewing the sap was used to treat sore throats, coughs, and has been said to be antiseptic. Most of the shakimic acid is found in the seed pods. There's some in the leaves and bark, but most of it's concentrated in the infertile seeds inside the pod. The infertile seeds are the ones that they look little and yellow, while the fertile ones have wings on it. But if you're just gonna crush up the whole fruit, you'll be getting all the shakimic acid and everything anyway, so you don't need to sort through it trying to find the seeds. And I haven't got to do it yet because they're not ripe right now. They're not growing yet. It's still early in the year, but I really can't wait to try it. And when I do, you'll see it. The dosage for the alcohol with the seed pods soaked in it, not really sure of. It depends on the body mass of the person you're giving it to, but I don't know a lot about this yet. Don't take any medicine without asking a professional first. That's all I have for sweet gum. I want to talk about pine trees now. We have loblolly pine trees growing around here. Loblolly. Most pine trees are edible. Not all of them. There's a handful that you don't want to eat, so properly identify your pine trees before you put it in your mouth. You don't want to eat the brown bark. There's meat between the bark and the wood of the tree called the cambium, and it actually does kind of have the texture of meat. If you eat it raw, it might give you stomach cramps just because it's so fibrous, but you can eat it raw during an emergency. You can boil it, which is better than raw, but it's still not going to taste great. The best way to eat the cambium of a pine tree is to fry it. It can also be dried and ground into flour. The pine needles are edible, super high in vitamin C. There's actually a lot of vitamins in a pine tree. If you're in a survival situation and all you have are pine trees, you're doing pretty good. You're gonna be all right for a while. You can make pine needle tea, which I've tried and it actually smells really good. You can chop the green pine needles and kind of use it like rosemary when you're cooking. You can eat the young male pine cones boiled. And the young male pine cones are soft and papery and aren't really like pine cones at all. The big wooden pokey ones are the female pine cones, and you can't eat those. Don't put that in your mouth. But if you do heat it up, put it over a fire, you might be able to get it to open and have some pine nuts. The loblolly doesn't really offer big pine nuts. Not all of them do. You'll have to look that up yourself to see if yours are worth opening up to get the pine nuts out. The core of the young roots are edible when you peel the bark off. During spring and I think fall, the male pine cones will release all their wonderful pollen all over everything, making your allergies horrible. But the pine cone pollen is super good for you. There's so many things in it, vitamins, and if you put a sack over the pine cones and shake it, you'll be able to eat that pollen. Super good for you. Tea from the pine needles have saved sailors from scurvy. Nobody wants scurvy. Have your vitamins. The toxic pines you want to watch out for are Ponderosa, Norfolk Island, and yew. Learn your pines. White pine is supposed to be the tastiest. It has been so hot. I have tried to go fishing twice already, but the water is hot. The fish don't even want to be out here. It's so hot. But I really want to catch me a fish. I love fishing. I'd have to go fishing in the middle of the night to catch a fish, according to the fishing forecast. But I really want to make a fishing video. The camera's not the best in low light though, so this is a work in progress. Sup? This is a pine tree. You know how trees log on the internet? Oh, I did that. This is a sweetgum tree. You can tell because of the way it is. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Look at me. It's rated R for radical. Oh my. Ants. Cutting my toes. All right, I'm done.